Hey, how's it going? It's Grant with the Garden of Eater, and today we're going to go over the results of the American Shrimp Contest hosted by Aquashella in California 2025. First off, I want to apologize. It's been a crazy weekend. Got kicked out of my Facebook. It wasn't because I was posting shrimp sales or anything like that. It just needed better authorization. Oh man, I can't even talk. It's been a long night. But I had to authenticate my phone only using my laptop, so we couldn't live stream. I couldn't make the posts and everything like that. So we figured better off just doing everybody justice by doing the live stream. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that made it happen. Aquashella for putting on the platform. Thousands of people were there. Some of them of which have never seen dwarf freshwater shrimp. Huge shout out to Aqua L for supporting us and providing all of the aquariums. They look absolutely amazing. Then we got Shrimp Studio, Lucky Aquatics, and then Shelby with the Garden of Eater, who all help provide um, essential things for the contest to make sure it runs smoothly, and their support is much needed. But extra thank you to Clemente, who was there in person with his wife, and he was there not just the judge but helped us tear down the contest, and it was really appreciated. Thank you so much, and everything you do for the hobby, it really does go without notice. So it doesn't go without notice. I can't talk. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we might mess up a little bit tonight. We're a little exhausted. Even the baby's tired from that rough weekend, but it's just the time difference is
We also
rough.
tore down and then flew home overnight. And I could maybe sleep if I had a window seat, but Shelby needs the window seat with the baby, especially. So it was a sleepless night. Maybe 20 minutes. We slept for maybe 2-3 hours during the day, but it wasn't good sleep because we didn't really eat any food until dinner time. So we're on one meal, less than 2 hours of sleep probably. But this is very important, and we wanted to get to it. So also a big thank you to our other judges, Mike Coleman, and we also had a legend of the hobby, Eric Martins, there, who was able to judge and truly is a phenomenal judge. He's one of the OGs, a legend in my mind, who really helped us get started and get the ball rolling at a very fresh start in our hobby. So thank you guys for taking your time and judging truly what was some of the most astounding shrimp in the contest. And that is without a doubt the most truest statement when it comes to the first category. When it comes to neocardinas, I don't think there's ever been better competition. Um,
11
off
tanks.
right off the bat, we had Kane Trin, who had third place with some of the orange eye.
I didn't write the tank number down. I did it in here. Sorry. I was going to be a little bit more efficient, I thought.
Hold on, technical difficulties.
So tank number 5 with orange-eyed red demon shrimp.
And I've never seen the orange-eyed neocardinas in person. They're no longer a scam. I can tell you for sure. Their pigment in the center is a little dark, but without a doubt, the pigment around the eyes is special. It's bright orange. There was people around the show asking us about them, and it's definitely a crowd pleaser. I would have been surprised if it had gotten People's Choice Award.
Mm-hmm. But to highlight on that, he also did enter blue ones. They did not place, but they were really pretty too.
And then second place, our very own Michael Esposito. And I say our very own because Michael is family to us. He is one of the original volunteers for the very first shrimp contests that were hosted international in Chicago here in the United States. And I think he's been to every single shrimp contest except for one of them since. He's a huge help. He takes his time to help us with water, tracking down packages, taking photos, organizing the awards and everything like that. And he got second place with some of the largest blue neocardinas that I've ever seen. They are the ocean blues. He is the source of our ocean blues, and they were massive.
So
When he said they were his, I couldn't believe it. They were pretty dang impressive. And then first place, shrimping ain't easy. Easy. Oh my god, I'm trying my hardest here. That should have been like an easy one-liner. Shrimping ain't easy. Why? Why? All right, Thomas Dobbins, you got first place, Category 1 Neocaridina. Congratulations.
They were huge, beautiful highlighter yellows.
We're not going to show off all the awards. It's going to take too long. But for first place, they're all like this. Shelby puts together the awards. She picked the pure red lines for this one. And first place goes to Thomas Dobbins. Congratulations. Thank you so much for participating.
Yeah, won with the only one entry that he entered. And they were phenomenal. And
go
they
big
did
or
their
go
job.
home. And they were also pretty big.
Yeah.
And congratulations. And I can also say this because we brought some shrimp home with us on the plane so we can shrimp them back to Daku. Woo! I don't know if it's the lack of sleep or the residual super glue at this point, but Daku's shrimp were in the bags with us going through TSA. I remembered one of the boxes definitely had shrimp in it, but then I forgot Daku's were in Shelby's bag, so we got pulled aside yet again. Yeah, shrimp are okay to fly as long as you don't fly with Southwest. But like Mike Esposito flies Southwest.
I think they
all
were just
the time.
saying that.
So
but
yeah,
a little amount of liquid. You don't want too much. Like I don't think they would have accepted if we had like huge bags of liquid. But
it also helps that the shrimp are big, healthy, and you know what I mean, moving around and whatnot.
Now to say for the neocaradinas, they are almost every entry were large, so that was like a win. I think there was only a couple tanks that were like smaller end neos, but it was tough competition. Like there's some beautiful ones, and like Jesse also entered really pretty orange ones, and they got a cool name to them. You'll see. I will get that video out posted this week, guaranteed. So you'll see all the entries.
I'm happy you said that, and I didn't have to say anything like, "Oh, we'll get it out as soon as we can," and then you feel guilty about it.
No, I'm very impressed on this. I don't have another show to worry about like I have the other ones. So once we get out packages, like I have this week to put that together and get it out. It's definitely worth the watch. There are some of the coolest, of course, the orange-eyed neocaradinas. And some of the coolest boas I've ever seen. They didn't necessarily take, they did place, but they didn't take the win. But they are truly, there was one in particular that I wanted so bad. Just that one shrimp. Mm-hmm. I would be happy. It's just like having like a gold bar in your tank, pretty much.
Now, category 2, the crystal category. Even though I run the contests with Shelby, Shelby's really the one that spends the most time. I try to be as non-biased as I possibly can. I don't want to see her open up any of the boxes. I don't want to see anything that could affect me judging in case I had to step in if Eric wasn't going to make it or I had to break a tiebreaker or anything like that. We were lucky enough that Mike Coleman and Clemente were there pretty much all day, both days. So I wasn't needed at all. But I was also busy with the booth. We'll talk more about that later. busy with the Aquascape contest, and I was also speaking on Sunday. So I didn't have a chance to go and take a look at this category. But category 2 is the crystal category. So I'll announce the winners, but I'll let Shelby speak on the quality of the shrimp, since she did go around at all the shrimp, make sure they were all released, acclimated, and videoed. So we have third place. Congratulations, Willis Lynn.
He entered pure red lines. They were really beautiful, big. It's a great thing about the crystal shrimp. They might be simple, but they're just so beautiful. And it is kind of hard to get that light coloration to the crispiness of the shell coverage. It sounds weird, but like hopefully you can understand that it's just like a really good solid, where sometimes it can become transparent or like just look softer. So these were really beautiful.
And we have second place with our sponsor, Lucky Aquatics. Congratulations, Shelly Speet.
Yeah. She's always solid with all her shrimp. I don't know if any of her shrimp didn't even, I think she placed with all of her shrimp, maybe besides one, but they were beautiful. Pure red line. Sorry if I didn't say that.
And then we have first place, category 1 crystals. Congratulations, Willis Lynn.
And those were with pure black lines, which they were just really, really, really nice. It's a really good category. I wish more people did pure red lines. I mean, they are just always a good staple in the hobby and will always catch the attention of people. I think the most requested Caridina that we do get is for red crystals and black crystals.
And I would say that the only really thing that was missing in this category was some shrimp from Richard Reynolds, whose wife was going through some surgeries and they were just not able to participate in this contest. But it still was filled out. We had some beautiful shrimp entered in this category, but hopefully Richard and Cynthia, you guys are doing well. And we have category 3. This is the Taiwan B category.
Now I want to start this off with, this was crazy because sometimes we don't have many entries in the first place. This was almost all extreme blue bolts, and then one tank of shadow pandas. But
and I'm happy I didn't have to judge that, because to have to judge all blue bolts,
it's so hard.
All extremes.
Yeah. It's hard to, it can come down to leg color, to sizing, to just your shrimp generally looking all the same. Like that, blue bolts change so much from tank to tank parameters that it could be all of those looked exactly the same in your tank, and then you get to the show and they're all different. So this one's one of the hardest categories. So, excuse me.
Then we have third place, Himanshu with...
That one was obviously extreme blue bolts.
And then we have Chris Clearwater in second place with his extreme blue bolts as well. And then first place, we have Clint Davis, who I know got first place with the only shrimp that were not blue bolts and were shadow pandas. I did see these guys. They were nice blue, deep dark black, the perfect representation of a shadow bee.
Yeah, man. If you can get that blue coloration to a shadow panda, they just look like just so beautiful. Like I have a tank in my room specifically for them because they're just one of the prettiest classic shrimps. I love that I'm saying classic now because there's just so many hybrids that they're just getting so fancy schmancy, but you got to appreciate where they come from and where they started. And one of those would be shadow pandas.
But it was really nice to see all the entries from the Taiwan bees because like Shelby said before in the past, there's not been enough entries. And that's not even like the further from the case with this next category with the tigers, because last show we didn't have any tigers. For this show though, we did have 2 entries, and both of them were very impressive. They both scored more than enough points to get their scores.
Yeah, they were high scores.
When we don't have more than 3 entries in a category, there is a rule where they do at least have to score at least 70 or higher in order to place an award. So we do have failing grades basically of 70 below. But these shrimp were far from that. Second place, Jacob Waters with his, hold on, let me guess, orange-eyed royal blue tigers. Yes, they're a stunning line of his. Jacob is one of the OGs in the hobby now as well. He's been around the competitions for quite some time, international and the American contest. Always comes around with a fire, and straight out of the Northeast, representing probably the better of the breeders out there. But congratulations, second place, Jacob Waters. Then first place, and I want to give this guy a extra shout out because he is a local, even though he placed as well in category 3. Chris Clearwater, congratulations. Thank you for showing up, being there in person, representing the local shrimp scene. We had a few entries that were brought in person, but I think Chris showed up and won, represented, and congratulations, first place, category 4 with your.
They were orange-eyed royal blue tigers with rusty pattern, though, which sometimes rusty pattern, like especially in Neos, is looked down on sometimes. I absolutely love it. It kind of gives them like a bronze color, like they're almost like a statue. But those were really incredible the way they are in, I mean, it's like a metallic sheen pretty much when you get to it. So they were beautiful. I got some incredible footage of those ones. And mind you, I'm getting footage like as I'm tearing down the shrimp contest. And I'm surprised some of the footage that I got because of the quality of the shrimp and just being able to like learn from past contests. So I was like so excited. So hopefully you'll check out the video and see how beautiful those are. And you'll notice like in the videos, just like the slight differences in why, you know, this one got a little bit higher score than the other ones, but both were truly phenomenal. They were hard. They just had that extra edge with that rusty. It was pretty.
But please, in the future, if you breed some tiger shrimp that are not a specific only wild type, enter them in the contest. It is one of the nicest shrimp. It's very close to one of the fan favorites, and they are very hardy. So usually they travel very well. I had a group of orange-eyed black tigers that were very, very well traveled, won many, many awards, and survived for many, many years for me. So don't be deterred to enter in your shrimp and think that they're not going to be healthy, taken care of. I know we had one dead shrimp that I took out. Do you know how the total dead for the contest was? Was it?
So I think altogether there might have been 3 to 4 losses.
Well, one of those was a DOA.
One was DOA.
Yeah.
And then one was, and the other, I think it was only 2 others in another tank that was, one had died and the other one started to do bad. So
not bad overall. It was
these are older, so with the shrimp sometimes they are older, and especially to get that big size. So when they change water parameters all of a sudden, sometimes it can stress them out. You don't know how old these ones are. You know, it's like no one keeps track of like, yeah, that's my 3-year-old lady in there. You know, so that's the only issue. Most of them are healthy. Most of them do well. It's just sometimes you have an older one that just couldn't take it. No matter how slow you acclimated, they're just like, I don't like this.
But it was a pack contest. Mm-hmm. So for 34 entries, that's a pretty good result. Not perfect, but that's got to do with the breeders as well. They have to make sure that they pack enough water into their tanks. And I know one of the losses that I had to take care of, this person is notorious for putting the smallest amount of water with the largest shrimp, and some of the most expensive ones too. So spend a little bit more on your breather bags, larger bags of water, and shipping costs, and your shrimp should do a lot better. And that's one of the things I wanted to point out. But then we have category 5, and this is the hybrid category. This is one of the harder categories to enter and place in, simply because there are breeders that breed specifically for this category all year round and send in some monstrous, really nice pinto shrimp of all different types.
And of course, there's 12 entries into this specific category. Now, this is one that hopefully, as we get more people to enter, we can split up again. But we need people to enter. We need that competition, because we don't want it to be where there's only 2 entries and then you don't feel as rewarded to win. You want that, that feeling of you actually won. So we might break it up again with like the black fancy tigers and give them their own.
If there's only 3 fancy tigers or 2 fancy tigers for 1 or 2 shows after we try it out again, it doesn't make sense to open up that category, because it's just the same person entering his shrimp or competing against one other person every single time.
Yeah.
So we need competition.
So this was tough competition. These were some of the coolest shrimp I have seen. There was a lot unique shrimp this time that necessarily haven't seen at the other shows. So they were really cool.
All right, we have 3rd place. Congratulations, Ryan Wynn.
And that was, it throws me off every time. And that was tank 26. These were black fancy tigers,
which
they were huge.
They can still participate. They can still take the podium, even with all the boas and other Galaxy tigers. Yeah. So even though they do deserve their own category, they can still compete with the boas. There are also some of the yellow and black and red ones that are coming out that would go into this category. I forget what they called, but Benny was talking about them.
Something?
No.
That would be a good name for them,
though. But yeah, there's a lot of different varieties, purple metallics and other things that would fall into this category that we could break them off of. But they're still out there. They're still competing. I think in the beginning of the year, some purples did, or at Jersey, they did win.
Because they had a purple and blue. That's what these fancy tigers probably did place really well, because they were massive in size. So they kind of did stand out compared to all the other boas, because the boas almost look like straight blue. So when you go down the line and all of a sudden there's a giant black and white shrimp, then you can see it from like 10 feet away. Mind you, I don't have good eyes. So they were massive, they were buried, and they also had the purple and blue stripes with the lines. So that was very incredible and very nice quality.
And then we have 2nd place, and 1st and 2nd place here was a tie. And we had the 2 judges there to do the tiebreaker. But basically, it was just fine spots. That was the reason why the difference between 1st and 2nd place. Matching those spots is very, very hard to do, but it is very important when it comes down to the contest. So 2nd place, Clint Davis with his metallic blue boas, right?
Boa snowflakes, yeah.
Yeah, and very big, very impressive, very nice shrimp, Clint. He always brings the fire as well. Congratulations, 2nd place, but very, very, very close. If 1 or 2 of those shrimp had just more identical spotting, it would have been a clear winner for that show for sure.
So this is the one I was talking about earlier, that one of these shrimp in particular could have won the entire show if we had judged by 1 shrimp at a time. Like, it was probably
one single.
It is
shrimp,
my favorite
shrimp
in
the contest,
and I will be putting that in the video. My favorite, because it was absolutely gorgeous and the really coolest. But the fact is that we judged 3 shrimp out of the thing.
5, at least 3.
The top 3, yeah. Usually when you judge, and they have to be similar. That is part of the judging criteria, which these might have, like I said, been a little bit more similar in the contest or at home, but in the contest, they were all different. And they were beautiful,
slightly different water parameters, so, and they get a little moody, and there's blues go the blues all across the board.
I'm feeling blue. But they were beautiful. Like each individual shrimp was beautiful. But because first place did have a little bit more patterns that were very similar and more detailed in the face, as the only reason they got chosen. But both were incredible shrimp. So never feel like that is like, oh, I didn't do good. It was just because they simply just didn't look the same in the tank. They were incredible shrimp.
They were really nice. Then we have first place Ryan Wynn with his metallic blue boa snowflakes.
Mm-hmm. And blue base snowflakes.
Again, the reason why these won over Clint's were they had just nicer spots that lined up. They weren't necessarily all nicer, but they had 3 of them that averaged out to just be slightly nicer than Clint's. All of the blue was also the same shade. I'll give size to Clint, but when you have the identical twins and color all matching up, it's a little bit higher in the point system. And to the judges also, they're going to think, well, it's harder to replicate that same thing over and over again. So congratulations, Ryan. You won first place, category 5, which is our hybrid category. That moves us on to category 6. This is our hybrids, but with eye morphs. So hollow eyes, orange eyes, red eyes. If it is something different, but Caridina only, we don't have enough Neo Caridina orange eyes out there to make the Neo orange eye category, but maybe that's something we'll do in the future. It would also be cool to open up a really category in, but yeah, I always talk about how Rillies would score really high on the judges' scoreboards, yet nobody ever enters them. There's just not a lot of really breeders out there. There really isn't.
Really?
All right, so we have only 2 entries, but again, I need to take some time out. Mr. Shrimp Pimpin' himself, Ruben, had a bit of bad luck. His box simply did not make it to the contest. It made it to the fair complex. However, the box went missing during the time of all the events going on at the actual fair. Sadly, we were not able to locate the box. We've given our Aquashella staff that was staying there until Monday, as well as all the security on the premise, instructions to cut open the box and take the return label and get the shrimp back to Ruben. There was a couple other boxes from Aquashella that went missing, so there was at least 4 of us searching for a couple hours throughout Saturday and Sunday looking for these boxes with no luck on searching it. So like that is one of the risks with entering the shrimp contest, but out of all the entries, that was the only one that wasn't able to make it. So this category would have had a lot more steeper competition, because Ruben does enter some of his nicest shrimp, and they were his orange-eyed purple metallics. And it's very sad that they weren't able to make it, but this has happened before in the past, sadly, to Ruben. And his shrimp made it back to him just fine, even like a week and a half, I think, in shipment afterwards, because they didn't return the return label. It was just simply returned to sender. So hopefully this case will get him back to him, and he'll have his box, and a homeless person didn't eat his shrimp, because that would be horrible.
Weird things like that.
I don't know.
You're such a weirdo.
Yeah, second place, though.
Yeah.
Which were still very impressive. They scored more than enough points. Far from it, just like the other Tiger category. This is another category that could use some love and entries sent in. But second place to our very own, and I say that because they're in the chat every single week. But Zach Nesbitt, congratulations. Nezinets, you got second place with your
Orange Eye Tiger Kongs. Now, these were really unique because you don't see them very often. And I think people are scared to enter orange eyes that lack some color, but they, you really need to have that sizing and those unique patterns. And these were really cool. So
And these
I
are
enjoyed
also
seeing these.
not like a mass reproduced shrimp. These are something that were created here in the United States that they are working on, a work in progress. So congratulations, Zach. You got second place. And then first place goes to Lucky Aquatics, Shelly Speet. Congratulations with your orange-eyed Black Devils. These guys were actually stunning. And this is just going to move us right into it because I don't know if it's the holiday season and Halloween's this Friday, or in my opinion, they're still one of the favorite shrimp to me. The orange-eyed Black Devils took fan favorite, people's choice as well. So congratulations, Shelly. You're going to get one of the plaques that were custom made by PNW and Harley. Harley and PNW Customs.
Yes. Harley makes those
really,
beautiful
really
acrylic
cool
pieces. Unfortunately, someone stepped on them at the show somewhere, and they did not make it to us. So they will be shipped out to you.
Harley's just going to remake them. He has a CNC maker, so
yeah,
they will be shipped out to you directly from Harley.
Yeah.
But congratulations. Nonetheless, they were showstoppers.
Thank you. We have to give a special thank you to Lucky Aquatics as well for sponsoring and helping out. Without her, we wouldn't be able to do a lot of these contests. She has been steady and true for all three of them this year. So thank you so much.
Her and Clemente both.
Yes, and Clemente, sorry. And but you got to check out her TikTok to see these shrimp all the time. I definitely hate watching them but love them because I want them so bad. And every time she enters these shrimp in the contest, I'm like, I really want to buy these from her. Every time. They're just beautiful, good quality. They always have their leg coloration. The whole body is just gorgeous and just phenomenal shrimp, honestly. Like, I could see why people like it. It's one of my favorites, tried and true. So
congratulations for People's Choice Award. And then that moves us on to Best of Show. We have tank number 27. These are the purple, not the purple metallics, the blue base metallic snowflake boas from Ryan Wynn. Congratulations. You won the $200 and Best of Show. Very impressive. It was, again, very, very close call with Clint, and Clint, if he placed first in that category, very easily could have won Best of Show. I honestly didn't know how the judges were going to vote it out. I thought maybe they were going to go for Shelly's I thought in the very beginning of the contest that maybe the orange-eyed Neocaradinas were going to place first, maybe even because of how unique they were, and that they could have even took Best of Show. I that's just a thought that I had on Friday, but no, the grand prize went to Ryan Wynn. So congratulations, and that wraps up the shrimp contest. We are going to go ahead and post it online. Everybody that got first, second, and third, you got one of the awards that shall be made out. All the first place also gets a bag of shrimp food donated by our very own lovely Shrimp Envy. And we will get those out to you very, very shortly. And then we also have another thank you to our sponsor, Aqua L. Without them, we couldn't have done such a lovely show for all three contests. And we've got those tanks to move forward with. They're really easy to work with, and they look great. So thank you everybody involved, Mike and Clemente at the show for helping out. But I think we should catch up in chat now, and then dive into a little bit of what else happened at Aquashella, because it was a jam-packed week. There was ups, there was downs, there was more downs, there was lack of sleep, there was a lot of ups. a lot of in-betweens.
And to catch up fast, I'm not a blanket hello to everybody. And thank you, Craig's Catfish, for a member for 33 months. That's crazy how fast that's gone. We did just talk to Sam at the show. He said he does have that print ready for us. So hopefully have that real soon.
And then I'm just going to dive into another segment that I have. We found another vendor that loves to make little shrimp things happen. This is one of their little stickers that they have for their art pieces.
So cute.
Absolutely adorable. They are cutiepie.com if you want to go check out some of their artwork. She didn't have shrimp pins made yet, but she said they were coming. And then I talked with her about maybe making a custom one for our members on our YouTube as well, because this was the pin that I originally got for Layla because she absolutely loves these little rain frogs, and they don't do well in captivity. So I got her a rain frog that does do well in captivity. And then I also got, she calls this a little donut dragon. And I was like, that just screams Layla all day. Shelby wants it more. Yeah, I think maybe. My favorite colors.
Lime green and purple.
But then my whole family on my dad's side is from New Zealand. And I thought this was one of the most adorable little tiny kiwi pie pins. If you don't know the little kiwi bird, this is like something my mom and my grandma send the kids when they send a package from New Zealand. They'll all the kids will get a little stuffed kiwi. So we've got a bunch of them throughout the house, or sheep. Sheep are really popular in New Zealand as well. But yeah, they were really great people. I just wanted the one pin. But then I was going around trying to find home for the guppies because I was worried that the guppies were in more water than the airport would allow, and I did not want to bring them home with less water. And she traded me the other 2 pins for some guppies. So they found a great home. She sent me a video of them in the tank. It's a lovely tank. Couldn't have found a better home for them. And I think the collaboration with those pins is going to be something that everybody's really, really going to enjoy. And it's something to look forward to in your landmark, or maybe it's something you've already completed, because we have people like Craig who are already 33 months into it. So,
wanted to pull this up because Vinosky, I got to meet you in person. I don't know if you ever made it around to seeing Grant, but it was so nice to meet you in person, and thank you for the sticker.
If you did make it around to seeing me, I'm sorry. I told Shelby, I was like, I didn't get to meet him. But yeah, if you didn't find me, I was running around all over the place at any given time of the show.
You sure those are pure red lights? No, we're never sure they're pure red lights. I take the word of the breeders. That's it. Hopefully they are. Stephen P. said, I heard somebody was the choice of the peoples.
I would say I was the man of the people of the show for sure, because I have 2 People's Choice Awards, Stephen. 2. So I'll get into those later, though.
Yeah. It is a shame that there were only 3 in that category. I'm hoping we can grow. It is harder in the United States to get that many. That's why it'd be so nice to bring the international shrimp contest together and be able to do like a couple of the American ones and then international. So those people are ready and excited. And then we have a lot more competition for the bigger contest. But hopefully in this, future, we could figure something out with that. I think that's where we'll be able to get pushed. And I'm afraid that there might be more than 100 entries though.
I think this year was pretty chaotic with everything going on in the 18 shows that we did, or however many it was. We had 2 shows going on last weekend. Both of them were very successful. And in the future, Jaden be driving around and stuff like that. We'll have multiple booths all around the country in no time with Layla and Jaden spreading out. But it was really nice being in California. Pretty much for the first time outside of an airport. So, but we plan on doing a lot more for the fish show scene altogether for Aquashella next year, but definitely branching out into an international contest, like Shelby said, is one of the goals for next year, I think.
Nezzy said, Ryan had a nice setup for y'all this weekend. I had a great setup as well. Oh, that's nice to hear. I tried looking at photos, but like Ryan was just not included in the photos that they posted. So that's really cool. And we're really appreciative, Ryan. He is one of our really good friends. We just went out to dinner with him before we left. I always appreciate Ryan and his company. We've known him for many years now, and he's truly just always been a great friend.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't the same weekend. There was 3 shows that we easily could have been to all 3 shows if they were on the same weekend. Fishtoberfest, Aquashella, and the Southern Aquatic Experience. But sadly, Aquashella takes priority of all of them, mainly because of the shrimp contest, but this one especially because we had Fakata was the judge of the Aquascape contest. He's from Japan, but more importantly, he's like the best to ever do it. He really, really is my all-time favorite aquascaper.
Yeah, he's truly awesome. Eric said the black fancy tigers were huge and nice, but pretty common now. So black fancy tigers are usually common, but the blue and the black, the blue and the purple striping on them is not as common, but it is becoming more common nowadays. But the quality on those were just a lot higher than usual. I definitely like those ones a lot. And Garcia coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Garcia. Said congrats and love you guys. Thank you so much. Hopefully to see you next year at hopefully the first Aquashella. I hope it's in Florida and nearby. So I don't think it's set in stone yet, but hopefully we can see you there.
I also think we'll take on a talk in South Florida here soon.
Oh, too. Yeah. So I've been asked to come talk to Fort Myers, so I don't know how far you are from there. Probably like
we'll see you, I'm sure, before Aquashella.
Yeah.
And that was actually one of the cool things about the show. It's our first time on that side of the country, so we got to kind of promote ourselves. And we had the California Organization of Aquatic Show Tropicals, the Coast Fish Club, and very, very nice group of guys. Want me and Shelby to come out at some point. They've got like a little club show that they put on. He gave me a bunch of stickers, so come December when we do our swag pack, we'll throw out some of these stickers. So if you're an angelfish lover, they are on that one. But yeah, it was great to meet them and a couple of other people who organize some of the things that go on out there. It would be nice to do AGA out there. It would be nice to do the LA Pet Fair out there, and then the Coast Club event as well. If that's out there, that would be really fun. I don't know if they're going to have Aquashella out there again next year. If they rotated it every other year with like Chicago or Florida, that would be all right with me. But
with what?
With California, like alternating and not just going there every single year.
Oh, yeah.
So
Eric said that's what happens with boas. So much variety, really hard to pick a group. It is. Boas are so beautiful. They're so stunning. And I wish we could just judge like maybe just one shrimp. That would just be unfair for everybody else. And they are so pretty. It would be cool if we had like the mini tanks and we just did like 2 entries per, but it would make it so much harder probably. Be like, well, which one am I going to choose?
Do pairs, a male and a female.
Yeah. And then you're risking less.
But then you have to donate those ones to the auction so that the genetics go back into the community, like That'd what the people do with the guppies. That could be like an exclusive show.
Yeah. There's so many ways you could do contests, and at one point we were auctioning off, but most of the people wanted their shrimp back so bad they didn't want to give it up. Yep, that was Myra. You did it on the floor.
Myra. Are we all caught up in chat?
Oh yeah, I could have said hi to everybody, so sorry.
Well, let's start off then with what me and Shelby were there to do, and I already talked about Fakata being there. This was probably the most important aquascape contest to us. Really wanted to make a statement. I really wanted to impress Fakata. I did not. I'm not quite sure what Shelby's ranking of his was, but I know Shelby was one of Steven's top picks. I know I was a pick of Steven's. Shelby says I was Ryan's second pick, and do you know what pick you were for Ryan?
No.
You had to have been one of Ryan's top picks or Fakata's top picks, or both, right? Because Shelby got most creative, and I've got to start some stuff. I feel like I got robbed. Okay, Shelby's like, she explained it earlier of how many different intricate things that she did and everything like that. I just feel like mine was just so much more different than everybody else's. I'm the only one that, opened it up like that and did a little fantasy type thing. But Shelby's was very, very creative. We already had this conversation, and you're getting so mad again.
Yeah, because you're talking about it again.
And then now preach your side of things. And she had
very
very good points.
So first of all, mine had a valley. I had many different point views in my scape. Grant's is a beautiful scape. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you want to talk about creativity, I added a cave. I added a valley that goes down the center. It is mainly a rockscape, but you could also look at it as if it's a giant tree that comes out to a root system down below. But then I incorporated it, making it look like a valley to a sunset, which I also hand painted on the back and made it possible that a light could shine through and make it look as if the sun was glowing from the back of it, which is also hard to achieve because we tried to do that back at the last contest with the blue background and the clouds, and it didn't work because the paint was too thick that the light did not penetrate at all. So I had to come up with a really creative way to make it. And thank you so much, Nano, because it's hurting my feelings that he doesn't see that.
This is my defense for it. All right, doesn't that little white spot on that brick look like a discus fish?
A little bit.
Okay. Anyways, my defense.
We both probably have it.
My defense is, I've seen her paint the paintings before. I've seen her illuminate.
By the way,
I've seen her illuminate the sunset before. So it wasn't creative. It's your style.
I did a video.
You've done it for the Carib Sea table.
Yeah, but I couldn't do it. Like, no one's actually seen it illuminated in person. Right. I did it for a video.
No, I swear we illuminated that
for
the show.
A video.
Oh, I don't know.
For the video, I couldn't. Right. I didn't have the lights.
But I'm not hating Steve. I'm just saying I took points off of her creativity because it's already been done. Yeah. That's all.
Well,
but when she pointed out all the other aspects, I was like, okay, maybe it is one or two more aspects than I have. I got all the little pointy tips on my feathered wings, but I don't feel like I got robbed so much, but I felt like it was much different than all the other scapes were. So that's
you don't think mine stood out?
I feel like yours.
Mine literally stood out of the tank.
I know that, but that doesn't get judged. but it does add to that aspect because, like Mark won
the whole
most creative when he scaped last with coming out of the tank. So it can help, and it was very nicely executed with the wood out of the tank. A lot of times it's not done right,
something nice.
and that was done right. I just I don't judge that part. Okay. So that's why I felt like I got robbed because of those two little things. That was my defense. I'm not hating. I had to draw up some drama. We get way more people here. You see?
So I have to explain how this tree came about on my tank too. Did not see Shelby's tank. So actually, I'll
have to wear makeup for like a week to cover up the black eye, but I'm joking.
Sick of you. Oh my gosh. So talk about your tank a little bit more. Why I put pictures.
Want me to talk about my tank?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to talk about your tank because we're talking about your tank right now. So Shelby got most creative, but she also got third place, and here is her third place ribbon. And we are blessed to know Trucker Tammy. If you don't know Trucker Tammy, I'm sorry, you're missing out on a legend in the hobby. She is truly a treat, one to definitely brighten up your day and fun to be around, and is just one of those playful souls that is also very, very creative, talented, and an entrepreneur of her very own. And she makes the awards for the shrimp contest. They are very nice. Ignore the little chip. Myra got a little hungry, Shelby said.
No, she chopped it on the ground.
I'm joking. But yeah, third place. It does come with a little stand. Those are still packed up. We kind of slept. I took care of the shrimp and everything. We got food. And that's all we really had to do after we got the kids and went over to their friend's house to get all of their stuff, because that's where they were for the 5 days we were at Aquashella setting up and everything like that. You just set it all up and then closed it?
I got it.
No.
It's down there. It's at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'll full screen it. So.
Are you sure it's showing?
No, I don't. Now I gotta make sure.
There we go.
Okay. So
you can just leave it
maybe
here.
Make us smaller. There we go. So you can kind of see it. There we go. So this is my tank. This is not a good picture. I should have got a better picture for you. This was vertical. I should have horizontally, but yeah, there's even leaves in the tank, which I don't ever do, like botanicals, because I don't like the dark water. I usually like that.
That was creative because it was like the leaves fell off the tree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you won most creative.
Crispy, clean water. And when I first filled this up, it was pretty brown, and the tank is actually not level. So I was a little upset about that. And because I had planted moss all the way up that branch. But fun story about this tree that Grant didn't even hear. So when I did this scape, the tree was not part of this plan. The huge root systems were, but this was supposed to be a full rock scape on the left side of this where the tree is. And I ran out of bigger rocks. There was a bunch of small ones, but time restraints were happening. Mind you, I did scape with the baby the entire time. So some of this was a little bit difficult when you usually need like 2 hands to super glue and create some of these things. And I did spend multiple times, but this beautiful piece of tree was next to me at Austin's booth. He had probably every single tree you could imagine at his booth. Every manzanita brush, to logs, to every piece of wood. I think he had like a whole crate full of wood, okay? And someone had asked him for some, and I was still doing some of my scape, and I'm like, man, I just don't know what to do with this side because this is too much room, and I don't have enough rock or big detail stones to fill this up. So Austin was doing his tank, and someone asked him, and then he was like, oh, well, I'll put it back if I don't need it. And I was like, well, I might take some of those small manzanita or, that one, the colors that I have, if you don't use it. Forgot all about it. And I ended up watching him take this big tree and put it back. So I went to go grab it to use it for roots. And then I looked at it and I was like, this is actually pretty cool. What if I just put it here? and I was like, it filled the hole. So that one was actually pretty fun. And I did take some time and put a bunch of root structures in this. The cave was quite difficult to make. And there's 2 huge bags of lava rock on the left-hand side, holding up that whole left structure. And then one right side is a huge lava bag. And to plug and play and make sure that that was all hidden was a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be. But gave me the level I needed without adding 10 pounds or 20 pounds of substrate. I also did scape the sides of these tanks. So the left side and the right side is viewable, and you can see all the rock work I did. So I believe that I took it's creative. I do think Grant's tank is creative, and I will bring his up in just a second because I did not download that one. But I did work hard with that and had the baby. I did have a lot of help from people, though. So many people did come over and help me. They took her and played with her, and she got to know so many people and fell in love with so many people. It's just so nice to be able to have so many friends in the hobby and how excited they were to hang out with the baby. And it just took a lot of stress off my mind when, unfortunately, Crip wasn't able to make it. So it was really stressful for just the two of us to get a shrimp contest and 2 separate tanks done in the time frame that we need to get them done, which, we fought for those tanks and we had to prove that we could do it because of the fact that we fought for those separate tanks. But in all fairness, Grant's tank is absolutely beautiful. I did make fun of him a couple times. So then he also was down on himself because I was being a big meanie about them. But I feel like constructive criticism is better than just telling you it looks good and things like that. Why not just make it a full image? Whatever. I was hoping it would just show the whole thing. But yeah, he is beautiful. When someone did say it was a kid, right? That said that it was like a fallen angel.
Yeah, it was like an 11-year-old kid.
Yeah, and after he said that,
it looked like angel wings.
Yeah, after he said that, that's when like this tank took a whole new perspective for me, and I was like, wow, it does really look like that, and I do enjoy it a lot. Sometimes it's hard for me to see his vision, especially when some of these were just like, there was just a structure of it. It wasn't the actual, he had to do a lot of stonework to make this look what it looks like. I wish you had beginner pictures. Like I have mine kind of like step-by-step pictures of how it looked. And I wish you had that for yours because it is amazing to see where it was to what it is now. And if you saw the progress on this tank, you would even be more impressed because of how much detail went into it. And it does make it he doesn't like the sticks in the tank. I don't like too much empty room. And that's the only thing that I don't like about it. That's it. So I think mine's
empty room.
Yeah. So mine's to me is more creative because I used more elements in mine. Where yours is just a little bit empty. I told you that the front could have used some elements and you would have won. You would have beat me to a pulp.
Here's where all my excuses come running in, and I don't want it to act like it affected my work or anything like that because I am really truly happy with the end piece. Now, Shelby was talking smack on Friday. I was not happy with my tank on Friday. I was trying to execute something completely different, and that day on Friday, I find out that Tim Crypt Keeper was not going to be able to make his flight to be there on Saturday and help us out. So immediately the gears in my head start turning. All right, it's crunch time way sooner because tomorrow is a busy day. Me and Shelby are going to have to take turns taking care of the booth, taking care of the baby, and aquascaping for us both to finish our own tank. Now, we've done this before where Tim hasn't been able to make it to a show because of his ID, and me and Shelby had to man the booth, work together, and take turns, but we were scaping the same tank. So it was like she do detail work, I do plants, we make up for each other's weak spots, and we're able to push forward. But on Friday, I don't think people can see. No, they can't see that. I was really happy with the the layout that I had with the rocks branching forward. I was happy with the layout of the rocks going in, and I had grabbed all of my rocks to build out that. But then in the back, I had planned on doing more layers to go kind of up to fold out and branch the rocks in the back. But all of the rocks were quickly disappearing. Like I grabbed the rocks I needed for what I had to work with, and there was very minimum space. This was the first time I got wedged in between a bunch of other tanks. Usually I get an end tank. Shelby had the end tank, which you needed it. You had the baby. Yeah. I'm not going to complain.
I went over there to do the background, and I realized what you had been dealing with.
I was surrounded by T and his family, and then I had Jacob Smiley on the other side. And let me just say that kid has come a long way. Me and Shelby had escaped next to him at the very first show, and it wasn't so much Jacob as much as it was the other kids working with him. It was a little Jacob, but it was like they took up 75% of the front of our tank when they were working.
We're like, can you move yourself?
And Jacob was a huge help. He sat there and then looked out the baby when the baby was sleeping, and so I can go around and pick out my rocks and whatnot. And he had a bunch of tools and stuff that he let me borrow. He grabbed some stuff off the floor to help me hand it in the tank while I'm holding glue. I would say T's mom was the biggest help for me, actually, like making the tank go together, because she held a lot of the stones in place while I glued them and figured out how to arrange them. But even that, the mountains in the back was so hard to do without a helper. Like if I had somebody else, it wouldn't have been a bunch of pointy sticks in the air. I would have worked on a better mountain range. Like I showed Shelby the mountain range I was trying to do. And if you look at the top left of the tank, which you can't see really in the photo, that's what I was trying to do all the way down. And I ran out of the right stones, and I had to deal with what I had to work with. I couldn't break the stones either, because I was running out of time. The rocks weren't breaking the way I needed them to break. It wasn't convenient either. You can't break the rocks right there next to everybody. I've got a rock in my belly, so I don't need to be putting rocks in other people's.
I got a rock in my eye this time. I think that you could have improved. We have to work on this. This is like the hardest thing to achieve, though, is those rocks, instead of like the shards, you could use a rock that's more like a medium, like those rocks that are like almost this size.
I know,
and
but
bury it. But I know you didn't have much room. But
it was time and everything like that. And I was like, even though it's not natural, it still looks really cool. And I was trying to make it from big to small to get that little depth aspect into the little peak trail in the back. Yeah. But shout out to the volunteers, Ryan, Channing, especially Tron. Tron held the baby for us. The Hakari booth, I don't know her name, I'm so sorry, but she held the baby for like the last 40 minutes of me and Shelby putting together the tank. We had Carrie man the booth while we were able to go enjoy the aquascape contest. Sam Scales helped out and watched the baby. Killa Arts helped out, watch the baby. Hip and all the other aquascapers all came around and helped us out as much as possible. And in the end, I was able to put together a tank that I was truly impressed with and happy with. It would have been a little bit.
This is her with Andy.
It would have been a little bit, sweeter if I had gotten an impression off of Fakata. But at the end of the day, this People's Choice Award, and I think I've said this in live streams before, this is sweeter than any of the money, any of the loot, first place, or anything like that, because and I'm not going to take anything away from Alex this time, because Alex's tank was clearly hands down a phenomenal tank, and what I'm about to say doesn't apply to that, but there's been shows before where first place doesn't make sense to a majority of the people walking around. It might not have errors, but it's boring. Alex's tank was not boring at all. It was phenomenal. His tank was erosion. It had 2 layers of rocks, of different types of rocks that looked like it was actually eroding. The depth, the scale, everything like that. Alex's tank came out phenomenal. It was beautiful, exciting. It was not boring at all. But before in the past, tanks have won first place, and it's boring to the common person. And I never want that to be. I'd rather be the people's champ, the people's favorite, and win this award than any of the other awards. And even before I won the award, we were talking about this Saturday night on the way to. We went to a Korean barbecue. Ours is Korean hot pot and barbecue, so I always start with the hot pot. But it was with all the aquascapers. Benji, one of the apprentices that was helping out, I think Austin. Was it Austin? No, not Austin. I can't remember who was helping out, whose team Benji was on. Who drove us?
Oh, no, the one that. No, he was winning. He was with Alex.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're right. You're right.
Sitting next to Alex.
and I just told him, like, I'd rather be the glowfish of the aquascape hobby and bring people into it and get them excited about aquascaping and even just thinking about rearranging their tank and making it look nicer and more impressive. And even if it is a fantasy style layout, I'd rather have that be the people's champ than a boring tank that wins first place, because I think I could easily do a triangle scape, no problem at all, and it would do place well every single time. But I don't think I'd ever be happy doing that.
No,
you weren't happy. I've had friends who have said that same thing, and they've fallen off. And I think I will forever be the glowfish of the tank. And does it not kind of look like my tank?
That's Hip's tank.
It is Hip's tank?
That's Hip's tank from when he won last year.
It kind of looks,
or not last year, the
very,
last one.
very similar style to what what I had done.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you can tell by the white, it's like to mimic the sand he did.
Yeah, I had many excuses on why I didn't achieve what I had to do, but I was able to change gears, go in a different direction, and I'm super proud of the way the tank came out. I could have achieved what I wanted to if I had the right hardscape and enough hardscape. But there's like 7 of us that are all using the same stone, and not just a little bit. We're all going heavy. Mm-hmm. I think there was a lot of people that were competing for the heaviest tank award, and I think I lost this time. I think Alex might have won that award. Austin, there's quite a few heavy tanks.
Mine looks like it's got the most rock in it, but mine's a little.
Even Mark Chen's tank could have been. It was packed.
Mainly with sand. It only had like 3 rocks, but they were like 40-pound rocks.
Yeah,
those are the rocks that the Red Strata.
I also wasn't happy with the substrate color choice. Doesn't really match, so I had to deal with what I had to do. But I think I made it work.
So you had a choice to do one. There was white sand.
It looked horrible. It didn't look natural.
It
needed more dark.
Yeah.
It needs more dark than white. With what? I did. It looked horrible. It was just it was more white than anything.
Mine were mixed. I had both.
It just didn't look good.
So Chris said both of yours were amazing, but Grant's stonework was next level. See, I know who he liked more, and he would have liked a time lapse of it. So
man, I think that's something we need to invest in the future. But you're gonna get a lot of sweat. Sweat so much near the tanks.
I think Kapil has some pictures of us like while we're making it that I'll be able to have. So hopefully I can put those together. I did message him. He's going to get me some of mine because I was aquascaping with the baby. I had no time to take pictures of me and the tank and aquascaping or Grant. So hopefully we get some of that. But the substrate that's in Grant's tank is Pisces substrate. So they provided, you probably used the prairie sand. There was Prairie, Delta, and Midnight Pearl. They're all the same, just different grains and sizes. And it's like a brown stuff. It's really pretty.
So I actually used probably all 3 because I used it so that way I was able to prevent the sand from falling down.
Mm-hmm.
I had some aqua soil in there, and just in case the judges were looking at it, in case some of the stem plants or something, I didn't know what I was going to do. But I do think I properly planted bobitis for the first time, though. I do think.
I didn't even notice you had a bobitis, so you did it good.
I had all of your bobitis in there too.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I was hoping you realized that was my box, and then you still had a box.
No, I didn't. Oh. Do you want to hear the story? So I get there.
So
there's a tray. There's all this stuff that's just there at my table, and I'm like, well, I see other people using trays. This one's in my space. I'm going to use it. But I was using it for my detail rocks and stuff. And so I had all my rocks organized on the tray. And then there's this box in the way. And I can't remember the kid's name. We hung out with him a lot at the actual dinner. Maybe it's Alec. No, not Alex. He can't have the same name. I don't know his name.
Don't ask me.
He was working with T.
Terrible with names. Don't ask me.
He sat next to us at dinner.
Don't ask me.
All right. Well,
I know him.
He was cleaning all of the plants for T behind the tank, and he's like, "Oh, dude, if I'm in your way, just kick me out." I'm like, "No, I need some more space. If you can move your box." And he's like, "No, that's your box." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So then I just take it and I put it behind the trash can, and I then look at it and I'm like, "There's definitely plants missing out of this." Like, has people been going in the back of this and taking plants? Like, oh no, what happened? Like, I should have been guarding it with like a machete or something to keep all my plants for my tank. So I go to Channing and I'm like, hey man, I haven't planted anything yet, but like, does this box look right? Or am I being paranoid? Because like, I just want to make sure I have everything. And he goes, those aren't your plants. And I was like, what do you mean? These are my plants. And he's like, no, dude, your plants are still right here. You haven't gotten your plants yet. And I'm like, you're right. But then where's this box? And he's like, I don't know. Whose box is that? It's probably somebody around you. And I'm like, no, Jacob has his and T and them have theirs. And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, here, well, just take it and give me my plants. And then he comes back and he's like, bro, they're Shelby's plants. I figured it out. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about that perk of this. The fact that, you know, we have each other at the contest. So, yeah, I used everything pretty much.
All my scraps.
That I needed doubles of my tank out of yours.
Yeah, mine was already fully planted, and I was like, oh, Grant can pick through it, and then he'll go give the rest to everybody else. So. And
I don't know why, but I'm able to find all the plants that I need every single time by like trading and going to like everybody plants before me, and I think that's the good thing because I can go, what do you got left over? What do you got left over? And then they all like, can I have your stems? I'm like, take them. I got no time for stems. Get them out of here. And I was really happy that I was able to do at least some moss work. And I hope Ficato's like. The moss work was great, and I thought my shadows were okay, but I know how to make my shadows next level next time.
Jesse said, winning People's Choice Award is always a great feeling.
It was. Shelby told me about it, and I didn't get to like see it, or I wasn't there. But
so I'm videoing our tanks because most of the time we forget to video the tanks. So I'm over there. I was like, Grant, you got to watch the booth. The baby, I'll go video. She was asleep. And so I go over, filming his, and then I get to mine and I'm filming, doing it multiple times because, mind you, these get taken and gone home. So that branch might not make it. So they might take it out or something. So I want to get that film or you're never going to have it again. And I'm filming my tank and Ryan's walking over and he's got the award and he yells, Shelby. Do you know how disappointing it was when he's not coming towards me and stops at Grant's tank? So I'm like, yes, no, yes, no. I'm like so happy for him, but I'm so disappointed. And it mainly because of the fact that this is my color. I love this color so much. And I saw it when it was sitting out. They post all the awards first. And I was like, I want that one in particular. I want people to love my tank, and I want that purple award. You know, it would mean a lot to me. And Grant gets it, but Grant's always been about the people.
And I'm extra happy to get it because I didn't do any social media like advertisement or asking anybody to vote for my tank. And before in the past, it's been kind of like that, where certain higher status YouTubers and whatnot will just post vote for me, and all of a sudden their tanks get way more votes. I couldn't even do it if I wanted to. I was kicked out on my Facebook.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but I ran the booth as much as I could on Sunday, or I was watching the baby as much while Shelby was watching the booth. So we didn't go home with any shrimp. We didn't go home with any plants. Sold out of moss without having to do any major deals. We wholesaled some shrimp. I gave some shrimp away to those who helped us out. It was like one of those things where a lot of times you want to be at your tank and you want to go and talk to people and, you know, interact with those who really enjoy your scape and get them to vote. And I wasn't able to do any of that. I try to take as much time as I could on Saturday during the day to encourage people to vote. But a couple of people were like, your wife's is better. And I was like,
yeah.
Get out of here,
I wonder how close. I would love to know how close it is. It would be cool to watch it. But anyways, on that point, so I saw them put it on. Of course, Grant's not there because he's watching the booth. So I go take a video. I take some pictures of it too, and I come back to him, and I'm like very dead serious. Which, mind you, this is so hard for me to do. And I'm dead serious. I turn the phone and I look at Grant. I'm like, someone put something on your tank, and I don't know why. And I showed him the video, and he's like, "What?" Like he's so upset.
And I thought it was another duck because somebody put a duck on my tank, I think, and it fell in. Like a kid went to grab it and it fell in or something like that. It was probably, I think it's Capil. Capil goes around and puts ducks everywhere.
Yeah, it might have been him. That would have been funny.
And so I already had to fish a duck out of my tank, and I was like, God, not another duck.
Yeah.
And no, it was the People's Choice Award, and I go over there, and I raise my hands in excitement. I grab my award, and then I went and gave all the volunteers, everybody that helped me, a big hug and told them thank you, because if it wasn't for them helping me out and prepping plants and doing water changes, I wouldn't have gotten the whole tank done in time. And Shelby was like, oh, the front of your tank needed something, and I think the side of my tank needed something, and there was a couple of little patches that were missing. I just simply ran out of time. At the end, I think my tank was about as good as I could do with whatever time I had, no matter what, and Shelby needed a little water change at the end to kind of make the tank the right color. And I'm glad I went and ran the booth while you were able to do that and watch the baby. So yeah. It really worked out. I don't think I couldn't have been happier with the results unless Fakata gave me first. That was it.
Right. And Steven's bringing up a great question, and I would love to answer this because I talk about this and Grant talks about this all the time. Says, do you think scape contests need an overhaul in general? So this is actually the coolest thing. I don't know if they're going to post the award ceremony, like a video of it. I don't know if Jimmy's got that, but there is a part where Fukata actually talks about American aquascaping and how it kind of stands out on its own. So it's nice to feel like America's branching off and doing their own, because when you think about it, there is different techniques in different places, like is it Vietnam or something where they build the models and they like place them in the tanks?
I'm not sure exactly.
It's somewhere overseas that they like build their models like a 3D model and they place them in their tanks. They look really cool. And then you got the ones in, Germany looks a little bit different to, China's got different styles. So it's nice to have a general style everywhere. And I believe that when it comes to like live aquascaping, especially when it's done for show purposes, it is so challenging. You can't be by the book. You have to be by what you can achieve. And even the person that was to the right of me, I cannot pronounce his name. He's really great, and he's placed in multiple online contests. Very good aquascaper, which a lot of these people that were competing are online competitors that have won and placed in the IALPC and International Aquatic Layout Plant Contest. Yeah, I did it right for once. And are world-known aquascapers that were not able to achieve what they wanted in the tank because it is a different way of doing things. And it's, even he put down that Like he was thinking about how they would grow out or like what it would look like, which doesn't look appealing. Our tank that didn't place at all a couple contests ago is one of those tanks. We have it in our living room. It's very beautiful, and when it grows out, the plants will look really great. And it could be a contender for a contest if you trim it and you plant it right and you let it grow and it gives that effect. But an escaping contest in front of people, that does not have any appeal. It doesn't wow you. It doesn't go, no one's going to go, wow, that's going to look good in like 6 months. Like some people might, some people won't. But the general population that's coming into Aquashella, like Grant says, I'm trying to wow them. I want them to get interested in aquascaping and not so technical. I think that these are good for people to look at it and go, that's something I can achieve. That's something I want to do. I can relate to that. That's something that's incredible. And then from there, it gets them into the hobby, just like that gateway drug. And then that's what we'll call you, gateway drug, with your, angel wings. Praise Jesus. And get them into the hobby and then go in and make it more professional for them and get more into the details and rule of thirds and, what makes focal point and layers and different things in aquascaping that are technically, when you're talking to a newbie, they're just like, oh, that's what? You wouldn't know right away. So it's really interesting to think about. Each contest needs different things. And I also think that just AGA used to do it at the aquatic experience where they used to have nano tanks, like 30 of them. And then they had 4 big tanks for like teams or they usually said teams, but we know some individuals can do it now. Like you need to be able to qualify for those, I believe. And maybe placing in the smaller nano contest would be one way to qualify for a bigger tank. So I'm hoping that one day in the future that could be something that Aquashella will do, give more people opportunities to aquascape and be part of that and understand how much work goes into one of those. So then when they do go to the next contest, they're like, wow, they really did a good job. Like, look at all that detail work. Look at this idea. Like, it's so difficult to do it. Like, it's so different with the time crunch than it is being at home and worrying about if that wood is going to sink or not. You only have you got a few hours to figure out if that wood is going to sink or make it right. Then you got to realize you need to fill up the tank and probably do a water change before the judges come back because the tannins are going to leak really fast. That was a lot of people's downfall on some of these things, like extremely talented aquascapers putting tons and tons of wood in their tank and then not getting it done in time to do a water change. And it was just completely cloudy. It was amazing looking, but it was cloudy, and it's something you have to learn. So yes, in general, I think that not for like the online contest. That's always different. That's always a bias between the judges and who you're going to impress. So sometimes you need to know your judge. Just like our judges this time, where Fukada's really does like rockscapes and
he likes big, impactful rocks, as well as he's the master of shadows.
So
I was trying to go big. I think
that's where I got him with my
little
cave.
Shadow.
I got him to bring me up a little bit.
But I think Steven was right where I lost him, and Steven went on about how if I had just left out all the peaks, that it would have been a much better. It would have been a top one for him.
Yeah. He said less is more, which is what I was trying to say with like the medium-sized rocks where it wasn't too many next to each other. The medium rocks would still have been small in comparison and spread out like as if it was a far mountain scene.
But it just looked boring to me.
Yeah.
Because I had something that I achieved on Friday, and there was some peaks in the back, and they were just I know I could have added more detail rock and made them look, a lot nicer, but I didn't like the effect that it was going on. I couldn't make all the rocks what I wanted exactly. So I just removed them all, took a look at it, and I was like, it needs something else. It's still just not good enough. And I added the peaks in the back, and I was like, this is adding that little flair that I think is going to get everybody's attention and make it look really, really nice. And I think that achieved it, but then I lost it on the judges.
Thank you. Says both of your escapes were very impressive. Thank you so much. Chris said, my wife said Shelby's was much more artistic and was better. I'm not going to argue with Karen. She scares me. Thank you. Yeah, Midnight Pearl is really pretty. I did do Midnight Pearl actually in my cave because it does have darker chunks in it. So I was like, oh, let's darken the cave a little bit more. Usually I like to use black substrate or something like that, but I didn't have any. So what I did was a bunch of Midnight Pearl and then like a trail of the white substrate that we had to mimic like someone had been trucking through to go to it. So it's a little bit better in the video. I'll be posting that tomorrow morning. So the Dallas scape from this year. Yes, that was Dallas, right? The Woodscape, was that Dallas or? Yeah, Dallas, because New Jersey was the Dallas, big rock one. Yeah, the Dallas one. It's really pretty. I love it. I enjoy it. I think we did a really good job, but it didn't give anyone impact. So they just kind of, pretty much said that it was crap. That's kind of why they were questioning whether we could do one separately.
Where was our Dallas scape?
Right there in the tank in our living room.
Oh, no. I think that one was purely because we were expecting larger plants, and that was the first one where we got tissue culture cups. But we were also told that some of the tissue cultures were going to be grown out. So we were expecting stems and swords and got tiny grow out pieces of tissue cultures, basically.
Yeah. The path to victory is definitely categorical. Best triangle wins is great. Yeah, that's it. To me, it's judges. Like this time, it was like a mix between people that like impactful, people that like creative, and then people that also play by the rules. So that kind of, if you look back at all the 12 tanks, they're posted just about everywhere. Ryan, Aquascaping Rhino is his Instagram. He's got like all the tanks. He does like 3 videos where it's like us setting up, starting, and in between, and then a final wrap up of like who won in their tanks. So that is actually pretty cool information and a video to go watch of all the tanks, and you'll see like the clear reason these winners, and you can go back to previous shows and pick the top 3 and look at exactly who was judging and exactly their styles, and they tend to gravitate towards that. So it was nice to have like a difference, and I kind of knew the judges this time, so I was 100% trying to go for a full rock one because it is usually impactful, and we both like rock. I wanted Ceru Stone, but Grant told me he was doing Ceru Stone, so I changed my mind and did tallest this time. I wanted to make sure that every big piece that he could have, he would have available, and I wasn't the one taking them, which I'm glad I did what I did. But it's fun to know your judges and judge it. Like George Farmer's one, for instance. Like I know his is nature style, so if he was to judge one, I would try to do as much nature possible, woodscape, and that would win on his books, like it's just, and they're hard to achieve. They're not always easy to achieve. You're fired.
I'm sorry.
You're fired. I loved it. It would be cool to see it all growing. We did take all the plants out of it, just sitting there empty shell right now. But we do plan to fill it up when we get a chance. We were hoping it would be the home for the little puffer fish we have for a little bit. Obviously, it's not going to be its forever home, but I think it's a perfect like opening for it to swim around and kind of be in the center. Like those fajakas just really love that attention. So I think we will. It's got some plants that are still living, but we'll probably replant it and let it grow up. And never know, might see that up on one day. Normally we don't get to keep our aquascapes together, but that one was like super strong. That one didn't come apart one bit.
We didn't want to worry about it floating at all. Yeah. Jacob Smiley was so worried about his tank floating and coming apart. And I
Yeah,
was like,
that's the scariest part.
you want
It's so
some
much fun.
tips to help with the nerves? And he's like, yeah, what do you got for me? And I was like, all right, this is what you're going to do. Get the super glue ready. Go grab a couple of emergency rocks that you can weight down the wood in case something starts floating, and have it ready. Don't panic and then have to go run for that after the fact. And then all you have to do is just drain a little bit of the water down, get it glued into place, cover
Luckily,
it up afterwards
oh, man.
if you have to. I don't know if it flooded, or I don't think I was there. I think I was at the booth when he was doing it all together. I think I walked away after I gave him that advice, but I definitely saw the woosah go through his body, where he's like, all right, that's some great advice. I think I got it now. So
he did phenomenal. If you get a chance to ever check out, Jacob is on Instagram. He's Jacob Smiley, real easy to remember. He has done so much and has grown so much, but that tank he just did was cool. It had wood. It was mainly wood and different types of wood, and it just branched open just like Grant's kind of, but with wood instead. And the dimension was really good. I'm surprised it didn't place. I thought he was gonna beat me and Grant.
I think that all of the judges saw what I saw, because Friday, with the way his tank was scaped, I was for sure that Jacob was going to win that contest.
Yeah.
However, at the end of the day, when I looked at the tank, I was like, he ruined one key aspect that he had that would have made your whole thing where, Steven said that you were the only one that had that peak where the focal point and everything drew it in, and then the scale with that little twig at the very end to add into that depth. He had that and then planted Anubius in front of it.
Oh.
And it's just very similar to what Carrie did at the Clash, where she just added those two swords that really ruined the whole aspect of the tank. Carrie says she went home, planted it, took the swords out, and was like, he was so right. And it's just seeing that and realizing those very small little aspects. Like, I found the cutest little tiniest mountains, and I was like, these are my final focal point for the scape. And if you look at those, they don't look like peaks. They look like good mountains. Like, I found good ones, but the majority of the ones I had to use were just, they weren't good, right? So we ended up spending a lot of meticulous time, though, with like the Dwarf baby tears in the back, moving forward to the Monte Carlo to give depth.
Do you know how long it took me? So with my tank, I think that's where Steven was like most impressed. I took all the baby tears and very small clumps like this big, less than a pinch, and a rock that size, and super glued them. And then not only that, I sat there and I meticulously pushed them into a specific size bush, and then placed them in my tank where they would look really nice and focal, like to medium to small to tiny in the back. And then took roots where they were really tiny in the back to a medium, to a bigger, to a large. So I think you saw all that detail where don't necessarily see right away. But when you're sitting there and judging for quite some time, you will see, the path gets real thin. It's not just like a straight white path. It's also mixed in with the substrate. So I did meticulously try to do as much detail as possible, which is crazy to think about because I was the first one to plant and fill my tank and be done before anyone. Maybe Hip, but no, Hip didn't fill his tank, but I think Hip was like the second. Usually he's the first one done. So I was very proud this time.
And Hip had a helper.
Yeah. And I had a baby.
A counterweight.
And she was cute. She was good. But where some people were working for the first 2 hours, I was sitting there battling the baby for the first 2 hours.
I would have to say, though, the highlight to my entire weekend, though, was if you saw the cover photo, I got to put the costume onto Myra. It was a little warm in the expo hall. The outfit, of course, is a little warm, but I paraded her through the entire expo. I took her to all of our friends' booths, and Even the random people everywhere I was going, oh my God, look at that little baby lobster. And it made
the original.
It made
photo.
my
Oh my God,
my
why is it
entire
doing that?
day. I was no
lobster.
food and deprived of water and all these other things. And I had so much energy running through because everybody was like, oh my God, that's the most adorable little thing. I was one of the proudest fathers running through there with my little lobster baby. And the funniest thing was, like, we went to Sam Scales and he was like, oh my God, look at the baby crab. And she went right away. And yeah, she was so mad, but then he's like, lobster, lobster. She kind of perked up a little bit, but yeah, that was the most fun I think I had during the entire show. Also, in the future, we're going to be helping out with more of the fish show and everything, and the guppy contest, and I can't compete, so I entered the only guppies that I thought were fit into the contest.
Of course, you didn't get any video.
And I
photos.
took people's choice.
How dare you? I forgot that he even entered into them, and it's our guppies, by the way. And he caught them. We share responsibility for these, but he caught them, got them all ready, and flew them, put them
Water
in the tank.
changed the day before.
Yeah.
Brine shrimp for like 2-3 weeks before we flew them out there so that they would be nice and perky and healthy. I got the aquarium co-op food for them, the community food, the little nano food or whatever it was.
To tell them why they're special.
But they're Diana Wallstead's guppies too. So
that is such a cool fact. I'm so excited for this one.
And I was able to find homes for them and trade them for these enamel pins, so that way I wasn't risking them going through the airport and any more stress.
And someone who really
I've already got a tank full of babies and more of them, so I was just ecstatic that I was able to come home with a guppy award. I wanted the best of show, but honestly, I saw the other guppies that were entered, and I was like, the female is really, really nicely. Nice. So the judge is probably going to go off that. But Jay Oliver, Guppy John was like, it wasn't even close with the People's Choice Award. The votes was so much higher for my one guppy, so I'll take it.
Sia says, I try to follow the golden ratio, but it doesn't always happen. Yeah. Most of the time, even with even a more crazy aquascape, most of the time it's still a golden ratio. It just might not be like perfect, but just outweighing the tank. You know, it's just like one side needs to be more dramatic than the other. Really does make a difference. And like, but I do like, I'm one that likes the center scape. I don't know why some people find that not good for aquascaping, but I find it aesthetically pleasing. I like the center, like it's like a centerpiece kind of thing. To me, it's okay, but obviously by the rules of aquascaping, that's a whole different situation. So I disagree on that part. I think that centerscapes are kind of cool. I did a nano one time that was branches, and they were just perfectly centered in together, named Nestled. It was a perfect few pieces of spiderwood, and then a straight path down the center with like a sunset in the back. And that was like 9 years ago. It was like my second aquascape ever. A lot of people did question me this weekend too. They were like, oh, have you been doing that painting or is this new? I was like, I've been doing this since the first aquascape I ever did. So that's why Grant is like, it's not creative to me, because she's been doing it since the first one. And I was telling people, I'm like, it's part of my art. Like, I was told I was not going to make it as an artist growing up, that it wasn't a job, that it's something you just kind of do and have fun and just a hobby. And so to me, when I get a painting on the back of the tank and it looks good and people enjoy it, it rewards me so much more, because it's like I'm an artist. And I know aquascaping is, but like to be able to paint, mind you, I did that all with my fingers. I don't like paintbrushes or tools, and I didn't want to have to buy them or fly them or worry about them. So people are just watching me. My hands are covered and I'm just swiping with paint all over the back. And it's a little bit more difficult to paint on glass and reversed than usually just painting on a piece of paper. So it was fun and interesting. It's nice to get people, it gets their attention when I'm doing it too. They're like, what is she doing? She's painting the background on. So that was really rewarding.
And I try to follow the golden ratio. I think my tank was rather centered, but I think I did a good job of the 2-to-1 ratio on the sides.
It was awesome meeting you too. You probably said your name and I met you. So I'm very happy. I'm not putting a face to the name though. Said I saw Shelby when she was working on her aquascape. I had so much fun. I'm glad you enjoyed the show, and I'm glad I got to meet you. And no, I did not take the tank home. On my Facebook is actually the person who took my tank home. I'm hoping that they were able to get it home without breaking the branch out. I don't think that was probably a possibility unless they had a truck, because that thing's tall. So they probably had to break the tank, or were planning to break it down anyways, and hopefully just do their own thing and keep my painted background on. And hopefully one day they share it. So I do have them added on Facebook. They tagged me in the post, and they were really, really lovely couple.
I think he found out who Shelby was too, and came back after the fact and was like, where is she? I need to get a photo with her. So,
and I said, oh, yeah, she's such a sweetheart. I think I do remember you. You were like, you didn't want to bother me. Maybe that was it. But the person, it was funny because when they were standing behind me when I was aquascaping, and they were like, oh, we won this tank. And so I turned to them and I was like, because I was just filming at the time. I was already done and I'm just getting the last film. I turned and I was like, oh, really? That's awesome. Can you tag me in it? And they just looked at me like they were just so confused. And I was like, it'd be really nice to see where it's going. And they were like, sure. And I was like, yeah, you could just tag me. My name's this on Facebook. And they were like, oh, you made the tank. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. They're still weird about it. So I was like, okay, thanks. Have a good day. I left. I was catching all the shrimp for the shrimp contest, and the guy came over and was like, can I get a picture with you? And I was like, me? So it was so nice. I was like, oh, well, you just had to tag me. You didn't need a picture. So it felt really rewarding and very nice.
And I did make one mistake. And I don't know how I did this. I'm pretty sure I was gluing so much on Friday. I was lightheaded. At the end of the day, I had some time to set up all the dry goods on the table. And I was like, I got to get Kyle's cards up on there. And I printed price stickers. And I thought I had changed it from $15 to $8. And then I put trading cards. I did not change the price. So for part of the day on Saturday, the cards were $15, and somebody was like, I really wanted some trading cards, but $15 is a little steep. And I was like, 15 should be 8. And the guy was like, no, it says 15 right here. And I looked and I was like, oh my God, I felt horrible. And the guy's like, can I get it for 5 since I caught the mistake? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And we started selling some after that, but I felt horrible.
Yeah, we would have had a lot sold that weekend too, because they were so interested. So many people looked at them and was like, oh, that's so cute. I mean, I had kids that were like, oh, there's collecting cards for aquariums. Like, they were very, very popular, very excited. So you're on to something.
But I got some packs. I still got some cards I'm after. So we're going to hope for the Corey card now.
See, it says, next year, Myra will be ready for full conversations. I know. It's crazy.
We got a Petunias Puffers. We got a Warm Wrangler Willie. I got it. I got the Corey from Aquarium Co-op. I don't know who else. Oh, I need a Vibes card. I got another Shady Grady, which is a very popular card. I ended up giving one of these to Jay. And we got another Doctor Outside. So the pull on that one was definitely Corey from Aquarium Co-op. I think I need Vibes and Eric Wyrock, and I think I got them all. So we got one more pack. Let's see if I can't pull another one of those.
Sia said, Shelby, I love the pink painted background with white clouds in Dallas in 2024, I think. Yeah, I really enjoyed bringing them out. That was my first time painting in a contest, the background.
We got a Pumped Polly's Predators. We got a wild-caught Willow. We got an overly overstocked Oscar. And we got a Primetime. Mr. Primetime. And then an Addison Axolotl. So that is the 5. I think we have all of those. If I didn't have Addison Axolotl, I'm not sure.
We do. So that.
And then we have the stickers.
That one was a fun one. I actually got really stressed out because that was actually my first tank doing it by myself again. Was it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was my first tank I did by myself. And first day,
that was your second tank, because the first time in Daytona, you pretty much did all of that all by yourself.
Yeah, but we were still a team, and you were still helping me.
All I did was rearrange one rock.
Yeah.
And if
that's because I wasn't confident enough to do it.
Any of your tanks, if that one rock was that fucking out of place, excuse my language, I'm so sorry,
bro.
If something was like that, I would have walked by and been like, Shelby, you gotta change that one rock.
Yeah.
You know, even if we're on a team or not, that would have happened. So,
but that was the first one. I got really stressed out because the rock I chose and the wood I chose was different, and I was like really trying to showcase it, and I was so worried. And the first day, I couldn't get the tank to look what I was envisioning, and I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get anything done, and so I gave up that night. I was like almost in tears. I was like, man, I'd lost like 5 hours of aquascaping, 4 or 5 hours of aquascaping that night, not being able to do anything. I'm not going to be able to paint the tank like I want to. The next day I come in and I just start whipping it out, and I'm like, all right, this is great. It's going good. Get it all done. And I'm like, all right, I have time to do the background. I'm going to do it. So that one was pretty interesting. Coral 12G came over and did a video with him and
Brooke?
No, from Tanked. Brett Raymer from Tanked, and I was just beaming with joy because they were so interested with the painting of the background. So it made me so happy that someone was finding enjoyment out of something so different. And I did end up taking second to someone who, I don't know why he won, but he did beat me in that contest, unfortunately. And the paint I use are just acrylic paints from Walmart. I've just worked with those for many years. I've never tried anything else. I don't know what else would work. And it does suck if you get any water on the back of the thing while it's still wet, because it just ruins it. Or when it's a little dry, if you get too much water, it just ruins the whole back of it. You can clear coat it and save it, but the first contest I had noticed something in the back of my tank that was like all messed up in my focal point where the sunset was. So I'm trying to fix it. And I come back out and dripped water all down the back and had to redo the background for the second time. And it was so stressful. But good night, Dee Dee. Thanks for joining us.
We'll be calling it a night here soon. We desperately need to catch up on sleep. All right, I got this other pack, the horror pack. I'm not sure. I already pulled Alex. It'd be cool to get a double of Alex so I can get them signed and then have something to trade around. I got my 3 Sam Scale cards signed, so I'll get one of those in a hard case. We'll have to go to a card store or go in the card aisle next time we're at Walmart or Target.
Well, it was really nice to meet you, Aquaballs. I do remember now. I just wish that I could have spent more time talking to you. We get so busy at these shows. I'm sorry.
All right. We've got a plastic Petunia. Penelope. Petunia. I got a Big Steve.
Oh.
I don't know if I had a Big Steve before, but I'm definitely get that one signed.
Yeah, I don't think we had that.
And I got a Zen Ginger. I don't think I had a Zen Ginger either. Yeah.
Your memory's terrible.
My memory's horrible.
We have like 3 of them.
And then we've got a Freddy's Fried Heaters, which I know we have a Freddy's Fried Heaters.
Yeah, I only think about Alex when I say that.
And we got a Hefe George, which I know we already have as well. So the Big Steven has got to be the big pull here.
Only on a sticker, and so is Eric. That's why you're not pulling it.
No way.
Yes, he kills. So Bristol, Am I saying the name right? Is that the same person? My brain
Yes, Crystal.
Yes. Was messaging Layla while we were gone, and I was like, "Oh, they're talking again," not realizing there was a Carolina show, and that's why she was so excited. And I'm like, "No!" I felt so bad.
Yeah, we'll have to make sure. I heard there's an event in May, possibly going on. It might be mostly saltwater, but we love going to the Carolinas, and it's at the Charlotte Expo Hall that they first did it in. So we at least go get our good Indian food and whatnot while we're there. So it'd be worth it.
Says, love the tank she was working on. Only thing I didn't like was the wood that was sticking out of the tank, but that's my opinion. The tank looked great. Yeah, I know a lot of people definitely didn't like it. There's some people that were like, why did you choose to do that? And I was like, I ran out of materials, and that was a good filler. And it, the way it looked, it came together. It made it look like as if the tree had gone down and the roots were there.
And then, yes, we did go get ice cream. We went to 2 different ice cream spots. One of them was ice cream on tap. It was actually a bar with infused ice cream and also other homemade ice creams that weren't infused as well. It was a really nice atmosphere. Great little place to go. Shelby really, really enjoyed her vanilla ice cream, which I got just for Myra to have a little bit of ice cream. She didn't like the other one, which was a non-dairy one. I didn't even get to try it. I grabbed it on the way out of the hotel room, but I couldn't find a spoon, so I threw it away before we got into the Uber. But I had 2 ice cream flavors that I don't usually like, and it was crazy because strawberry and pistachio are 2 flavors that I just do not like because like the artificial flavoring is just not the same as what I like. But these were organically grown strawberries out of Oregon that were freshly picked or something like that. And then the pistachio kind of tasted like a Dubai kind of style pistachio chocolate filling.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed both of those flavors.
But the ice cream he got me was trash. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever had.
She liked the vanilla.
Peanut butter banana, which, mind you, I eat that at ours, and I absolutely love peanut butter and banana together. But I don't know what else they added, but I'm telling you right now, there was something disgusting in that. Because who ruins peanut butter and banana? And it wasn't like it was like a fake banana and it made it disgusting. It was disgusting. I could not physically eat it. And I mean, even like off-brand peanut butter and banana should have been no problem. I don't know what chunks they put in it or what they used. Oh, you said it was no sugar or dairy-free. Is that what it was?
It was dairy-free.
It was disgusting. Worst ice cream I'd ever have. I would rate that as a 0. If I take 2-3 bites and I keep trying, it's not good. It was awful. But their vanilla was phenomenal. It was probably like the best vanilla I'd ever had. So I guess maybe it's just the dairy-free or something. It was disgusting.
But then we also went to Joe's Famous Italian Ice. We had to go on a bit of adventure to go out for this. And I knew already the way Shelby was talking crap about how we're going to go get Italian ice. And I was like, it's not just Italian ice. It's ice cream and Italian ice together in the same thing. It's something that Harley was going on about, saying that his wife was going to be mad that he got to go and without her type situation. And I love Harley with all my heart, and I trust his opinion. So I was like, all right, Harley, it's 30 minutes away. Even if we got to split an Uber or whatever it is to go get this ice cream, let's do it. But we were stuck, well, not stuck, but we were at Korean barbecue. And the guy that volunteered to drive, he was clearly tired, had to drive too far, and got out of there way earlier than everybody else. So it was a good idea to get Harley to just come pick us up from there and then go to this Italian ice. The only catch was we had to ride with Harley to LAX airport so that way we could get the cargo because he sold out all of his tanks that day.
If it was anyone else but Harley, I would have been fuming.
So I got to hang out with Harley extra longer. We got to go get the Italian ice. Overall, if you're able to go to Joe's Italian Ice, I highly recommend you go try it. I got Shelby to enjoy it by the end of it. Hers was even better than mine was, and I still liked it. It was different. It was an experience, but the actual location is pretty cool to check out. Yeah. Harley said there's been really long lines. We literally went like 10 minutes before it ended up closing, and there was still a line behind us after we had left. So
it was really good.
It's a really cool little place. I think they have 2 locations, but I would imagine they're both going to be like really old-timey, that authentic Italian flag style, Italian ice joint, but really good kind of mix the way they did the ice cream with the Italian ice. I enjoyed it.
I hate Italian ice. Okay. I just feel like I'm paying for flavored water. I don't enjoy it. And mind you, I like ice, which is funny, but like when I'm paying so much for that, it just seems like to drive out of my way for Italian ice, and it's layered. And I'm like, that sounds awful. Grant, I can't believe you're taking me 30 to 40 minutes away for Italian ice. Like, I'm just going to be disappointed. I'm going to be mad. This is so stupid. You know how much I don't like Italian ice. I just don't eat it. It's just not for me. And we get there, and I was like, all right, I'll try a small strawberry lemonade. And man, it was refreshing. It was good and weird. It's just soft serve and a nice Italian ice, but the Italian ice was really good quality. The soft serve was good. The
soft serve was probably the best soft serve I think I've ever had.
I think it keeps
honest opinion.
The ice keeps the
soft serve only cold. Ever gets like a 7. It can never get higher than a 7. This was a high 7. 7.9.
So, are you guys doing the Kentucky show?
Yes, absolutely. The Kentucky show is going to be the kind of triple crown. It's the ACA show. I don't know if they're doing the other ones involved.
Can you buy me a Kentucky Derby outfit for it so I could just be ridiculous?
You are ridiculous. I think it would be without the outfit. In a good way. Why are you taking everything for cover the eyes?
Oh yeah.
But we will definitely be going. The ACA is one of the clubs that does the most for the kids, and our kids absolutely enjoyed that aspect of it more than any other show.
An excuse to see my mom.
And Scuba Steve will also be there as well. So we enjoyed the Triple Crown the first time we went there. The area, hopefully it's a lot better than the ACA that was just in Texas. That one was worth it for the kids, worth it for the people that we got to see and hang out with.
It's only like a 10-hour drive.
It is, but it's still, I think going to be a much better event no matter what. There's just wasn't any local people in San Antonio, whether it was the riots, the floods,
there was a lot going
everything like that.
I think it would have been better
more
without
people from Florida out at dinner with us than there was.
Jeff Kane said he'll be there too if everything goes to plan. So
awesome. Then
crossing our fingers. When is it?
I don't
know. We missed In-N-Out this time. It really sucked because we passed it a couple times. Yeah,
and we could have if we didn't eat so much Thai food.
In 10 minutes though. The Italian ice was closing within 10 minutes of us our arrival. Otherwise, Harley would have 100% stopped and got In-N-Out with us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was super excited. And then we were on our way to the airport. I had no room for
In-N-Out in my belly. We went to the Korean barbecue, and my table was all about ordering food, not about eating food. And I don't waste food.
And no one wanted bulgogi as much as I did.
When I order plates of meat, especially, like I'm a meat eater, but by all means, I will never waste meat. Vegetables can go in the compost pile, can be fed to the koi fish, depending on what it is, etc. I will never, ever, ever waste meat. And we ordered fillets. I was like, everybody else was ordering stuff. I was at the back of the table, and I'm like, well, the only thing that I really wanted that wasn't on the list was fillets. And somebody was like, there's fillets? I was like, yeah, how did you not see fillets on the list? And then they were like, oh, let's get fillets. So we got fillets. Nobody ate the fillets but me. I devoured 3 fillets at the very end all by myself. And then we went to Joe's Ice Cream. So on top of that, I had all the Wagyu pork belly, all the bulgogi, the pork bulgogi. It was my first time eating rice paper and rolling it up with kimchi, and my first time eating kimchi, and it wasn't that bad. I thought it was going to be more fermented tasting, and it was just spicy cabbage.
Could have brought us in and out. Yeah, you could always.
But at the same time, there was all the fair
hungry.
food that was in there. Everybody was telling us we were
any
supposed
of
to.
It.
Well, you had a pretzel.
The pretzel was good.
But like people were like, "Oh, these are famous hot dogs," and like I'm not one for hot dogs, but I'll give it a try if somebody says it's famous, you know. So didn't get to have any of the ice cream in the expo, and I was so excited for that.
Oh, I told B2 to sit behind your booth and pretend she was Layla to help sell your shirt for you. That's so funny. It probably would have worked, honestly. That's so funny. You can't waste the meat. That's good for it to my brain every time too. Yeah. I was saying something about it when we went. We were like, oh, there's like little bowls of salads and like little radishes and stuff on the table, and they were all eating it. And I looked at them. I was like, they asked if I wanted some. I was like, no. This is how they get you, because they know you're gonna fill up on these instead of eating the meat that costs more money and make it worth your money to pay this much, because this was way too much. I am fading really fast and have to go to sleep, though.
All right. I'll just say one thing. I had a little bit of the salad. I love Asian salads. It was delicious. It didn't fill me up at all. I just had a tiny, tiny portion. But everybody else was eating rice and all this other stuff. I was like, this is why you guys are ordering a lot of food but not eating a lot of food. I ate a ton of meat. I had the meat sweats by that second fillet for sure. But yeah, I'm surprised we honestly made it 2 hours and that we had this much energy throughout the entire show.
I'm gonna pass out.
I'm surprised.
I'm honestly like,
yeah.
It hit me real hard. Wagyu is 30. It's gross. But the bulgogi is great. If you ever get bulgogi, I don't like fat on mine, so like the bulgogi was just perfect. I ate Pink's hot dog and not having a great time today, so good thing we skipped out on that. So hopefully you feel better.
But the Wagyu was pork belly, so it was like right. You expect that much fat to be on pork belly.
Yeah.
So. But thank you guys so much once again, everybody that was there and helped out, all the support, all the sponsors who helped support the Aquashella contest, Aquashella themselves, each and every single one of you for joining us tonight, all the recappers and everything like that. Shelby will have that video out this week like she promised, so it's all on her. And we will see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good week.
Take care.
Later.